Welcome to your 12 sign horoscope reading for the new moon in Aries on April 17th. Welcome to the Cosmic Sky Podcast. I'm Everett Carty. And yesterday I did the collective video. It is long, however, I think that you'll find that when you watch my videos, they do go by very, very fast, and I think that you'll be very, very engaged in the video when you start watching it. Because some videos on YouTube last only 20 minutes, and they are the longest thing because of how they edit it. I don't edit my videos that way. I don't do all the fancy, editing things. So you can go see that video to gain a better understanding over what this new moon is about, so that you understand, how it applies to your sign. In this video, I'm not going to tell you, this full moon falls in your, let's just do it randomly. If a full moon is, for Cancers, it falls in your 8th house. Well, I don't do it that way. It's shallow. It's not deep. It's not meaningful. It doesn't tell you anything about the sign. And you're probably not going to always look in your chart to figure out where things fall in your houses. I think astrologers expect you to know these things, but not everybody is as, hip and is as knowledgeable and aware of their astrology. Not everybody will take the time to do that. I don't use jargon in my videos. And I hope that if I do become an astrologer, I won't, have to resist the temptation to use a lot of jargon, because I don't try not to use it, but I just naturally don't use it. It's like I was watching an astrologer do the 12 sign readings, and it reminded me so much of why I want to do this the way I want to do this. I want to revolutionize and innovate the way that astrologers do their 12 sign readings. Because it's wrong. They all do it the same exact way. They have the same exact approach, which is overemphasizing the house and not the sign. I don't want to do it that way. I want to tell you, I want to make it a prescriptive reading with what you need to know, what you can think about, how you can grow as a sign and as a self connected to your soul, not your ego, when it comes to how you can evolve the transit. That's what I want to do. That's my aim in these videos. And I hope that you find them way more interesting and resonant to you than the typical videos which get all these views and all this attention, which are overrated and they should be changed up. So I'm going to do my part. I'm going to be an Aquarius and do my part to change how it is. And I will always continue to do this week after week of doing it this particular way. So I'm going to start out, this video, with all that being said, I'm going to get into your readings for your signs. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Timestamps are in. Actually, I should say, when I was watching this astrologer, it was off Spotify, and I found out that you could actually put timestamps in Spotify. I know that in some of my videos, it's like when I was watching them, my podcast episodes, they gave default timestamps, and they were very, very well done, computerized timestamps. But I found out that you can actually do that, so there will be timestamps in this video on Spotify and on YouTube. I thought that it was only on YouTube, but now I'm just starting out on Spotify, and I found out about that. So timestamps will be listed, and you'll be able to click through to your sign with whatever platform that you're watching this on. So, delving into your signs, and if you don't know your rising sign or your moon sign, then you can go to astro.com, put in your birth information to find that out. Alright, let's start with Aries. This particular new moon is happening in your sign. This is big for you because this is a time that you have permission from the universe, from spirit, from your guides, from your angels, from your soul, from your higher self, whatever you define, to take action on whatever you want to take action on. Like, what is that one thing that you've been kind of waiting to take action on? Like that tool that you wanted to buy to plant a garden, to that book on the Revolutionary War that you wanted to write, to that book on astrology that you wanted to write, a course that you want to set up, a business you want to set up, an idea for doing something a certain way that you want to start. I mean, whatever it is, now's the time to take action on it. Because Aries does not sit around and wait for others to give it permission. It doesn't sit on the energy. It just acts immediately. So now is your opportunity to take action. Like, this is not a time for Aries to be like procrastinating, holding off. Like now's the time to act. Like, this is your big, and Aries is about action, so the universe is giving you a big fat permission slip to act. And with all these planets in Aries, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, and Eris in Aries, all those planets in Aries, you have permission to act. Now, in order to act on what you want, you have to be clear on what you want. Are you clear on what you want? That's another question that you can ask yourself. Like, there's two questions that you can ask yourself. The first of which is, are you clear on what you want? It's very, very important. Because if you're not clear, then you can't put it into action. You can't manifest it in your reality. Like Aries is a very, very clear energy. Like, I know what I want. I know who I am. Wonderful, wonderful qualities for Aries. It's so great that we have these individuals who are so confident and clear on themselves, knowing their values, knowing what they want, and are willing to go after that and to do really what they believe in doing. So are you clear on what you necessarily want, or are you a little bit confused about that, where you need to work with yourself to gain that clarity? And then, are you confident in yourself? Are you confident in your abilities that you can go after this thing? Like, on that song in The Sound of Music, I have confidence, I have confidence, like with Julie Andrews, I have confidence in me. Like, whenever I hear confidence, I think of that. Like, are you are you confident in yourself? You can sing that song as an affirmation. Like, are you confident in yourself and what you want? Like, Aries is a very confident sign. Aries is like a go-getter sign. It's like, I'm confident in what I want, and I'm going to be true to myself with what I want. So that is very, very important to consider, and to do things that can boost your confidence, or to engage with people that can boost your confidence. And then using your energy for good. Not using your energy for destructive, low, impulsive, egoic purposes. Like, how are you using your energies? So whatever goal that you want to do, make sure that it is aligned with your soul and not your ego. Because if it's aligned with your soul, you will do good in the world. If it's egoic, then you run the risk of it being very, very selfish. So whatever you're doing, is it for, is it going to hurt others, or is it going to serve or uplift, or not ruffle feathers, so to speak? So, using your energy for good, using your energy to do good things with it. Having goals that are, positive goals and not negative goals, and then setting up positive emotions. With whatever you're doing, make sure that you're not sending out like hate, frustration, anger, division, separation, but instead send out emotions that you believe in. I think that Aries is a very, very strong, Aries is a very, very strong sense of right and wrong, a very, very strong sense of I know what I believe in, and I'm going to act on it. If you believe in peace and love and joy and authenticity, show that. Show that and embody that. Be an ambassador. Be a role model for others. Others are seeing me being so confident. Others are seeing my true self. So send out those positive emotions of whatever you want to see in your world. Put that out into the world, and it will come back to you. So you can learn from Libra, your opposite sign, about karma. So that is for Aries. Moving on to Taurus. Taurus has this very, very negative tendency to, start something and then just stop abruptly and get itself in the weeds and get itself stuck. Taurus can get itself stuck because it takes its time. Mars and Taurus especially, they can get themselves very, very stuck with what they are doing very, very easily. So because it's a thing where you just kind of get so into the moment, so into the present, that you just stop. So if you notice that you are stuck, if you notice you are that you are stagnant in terms of what you're doing, then now's the time to get up and move the energy. It's about keeping moving forward. When you get stuck, reading a book, or climbing up a mountain, or achieving a goal at work, or taking care of the house. With whatever you're doing, if you find yourself stuck and not moving, and there's also Mars conjunct Saturn, which is things are not moving fast enough. Things are not moving, during Mars is conjunct Saturn during this time. So the energy feels frustrated. Things need to pick up. So it's, time where this energy gives you a little bit of a boost and a little bit of a push. Now is the time to push and move that energy. Move the energy in terms of, not getting stuck, but just continuing to just plod along and move along. And also, if you've been at home, sitting inside, just eating, listening to music, taking things very, very slowly, now's the time to move your body and activate. And you can enjoy the essential experience of doing that. You can get out of nature and be present with nature while moving your body and being physical. This is a physical energy, basically. And then, revving up your engine. Getting your mojo back, getting your energy back, is really what this is about. The other thing that goes along with this is, where are you stuck in a comfort zone? Where are you overly comfortable? Because Taurus can get itself into a comfort zone and avoid risk. Your opposite sign of Scorpio is take a risk. Be bold. Stretch yourself. Push yourself. So, Taurus is comfort, Scorpio is risk, and it can be very, very difficult for Taurus to evolve into Scorpio. It's a tough, South Node in Taurus, North Node in Scorpio is a very, very difficult placement, and not for the faint of heart. So, you have to be really, really, willing, to, if you have that placement, then your soul is really, really willing to suck the juice out of this life. So, where are you overly comfortable? In a certain place, in a certain situation, a certain, way of being? Are you staying at home all the time and not getting out? Are you stuck in the same job and not expanding out of it? Or are you climbing up the same tree and not climbing up another tree? You know, where do you need to do something different and break out of your stuck comfort zone and take that risk? Now's the time to take a risk and move in a new direction. The sign comes before you. Aries says, take a risk. Make something happen. Like Aries is the hare, Taurus is the tortoise. Like the tortoise and the hare is so Aries, Taurus. Like these signs are so different from each other. And that's how you can begin with your understanding of astrology. Aries moves very, very fast. Taurus moves very, very slow. That's like surface level beginner's astrology. So, you know, like worthy of being taught to children almost. So, like you could teach astrology in school and, you know, do like animated videos for the signs. Like I wish they would teach astrology in school. Like really, honestly, they should. You know, and the more you know, grow older, the more how they include astrology becomes more advanced in schools and in subjects. Like if only they would blend astrology into every little subject that they would teach. Then, you know, that would be very, very interesting. So the next thing is, do you feel worthy of being loved? That's a question. Chiron is conjunct this new moon, conjunct both the sun and the moon. The moon is like hand in hand with Chiron, almost exactly conjunct Chiron. And so, do you feel worthy for being loved? Do you feel like you are worthy of love and peace and connection from others? You know, are you worthy of love? Not necessarily the emotional or passionate scorpionic love, but the sensual love that gives you pleasure, that gives you the pleasure of being alive, pleasure of the present moment, the sensual elements, because Venus is the planet of love and Venus rules you. So that's a question you can ask yourself. And then not disassociating from the world around you. Very, very important. Like, I have a North Node in Taurus. And I am not going to, I'm going to be true to myself and be true to my values and do things that are in alignment with my values. And sometimes that may involve, like, I'm just going to be real and raw. There is something that I have to do in, you know, at a clinic that I am really, really not willing to do. But, you know, it is for my health. And if I value my health, then, you know, that I have to sort of... you know, go through this process of doing this thing, which I'm very, very resistant to do, like knowing what you value and, you know, that kind of thing like that. And, you know, the signs are telling me, like, be willing to go in this direction, so I will see how that goes. And as long as you understand the reason why you need to do it, then that's fine. But anyway, I just thought I might mention that because I wanted to just process that for myself there. So I may mention things in these videos about myself only because I'm just trying to process and share it. So it helps me as somebody with a lot of air in my chart, my moon in air. So, you know, you know, and with the North Node in Taurus, like, I don't need somebody to come and analyze, well, because you're using another's ideas as your own, you are basing it off of others, and you're not doing it for yourself. Well, if you are connecting deeply with another, then you're not connecting with yourself. Like, I don't want to be with a Taurus person who is A, stubborn, and B, so disassociating that they deny the very, very real emotions of the human being and the impact that others have on you, and not shutting that out and not just pushing that aside like it doesn't matter, like it's not important. Like, I am going to be true to my values, but I am not going to disassociate in this life. I don't think that's very, very healthy for North Node and Taurus people to hear, like, oh, focus on your own, you know what, but, and, you know, just don't care about anybody else. Like, not in a way where you're disassociating. like you need to balance out both Scorpio and Taurus energy. Like you can't just go all Taurus or all Scorpio if you're like me and you have your Southern Scorpio and Northern Taurus. Like both of these energies have to balance each other out. It's not one or the other. It is both and. Yes, you're supposed to be leaning toward Taurus, but you're not meant to be just completely disconnecting from where you came from and what you're familiar with. Like you need both. So, not disassociating from the world around you, not cutting off the world around you. There's a difference between like engaging in drama and then just disassociating. Like, I'm gonna probably take others' ideas and use it as my own in this life. That's fine, and that is not leaning back into my Scorpio South Node because you need others' ideas. We do our own things based off of what others have done. Not just, ourselves, because we live in a life where people are in the world and relationships, and so we base a lot of it off of others. So, that's, as long as we feel like we are doing something that we value and we feel good about ourselves when we do that, then that is fine. So, not disassociating from the world around you. Not completely cutting yourself off from the world around you. Being willing to connect with others. Being willing to, open up is really the invitation here. I don't want to, overanalyze this, so I'm going to move on to Gemini. Now, Gemini is a child. And I talked about children a little bit in that collective video. And children, when they come into this life, they are fresh. There's hope. There's opportunity. There's innocence to them. They are pure. What happens? Conditioning. Some of that conditioning isn't very good. We want the conditioning that makes you a better version of yourself, not the conditioning that takes away your joy, the hopes you had, the dreams that you had, what your soul wants to do in this life uninhibitedly and authentically. You don't want to take that away. In fact, you want to condition the child into following their soul and not getting caught in the low vibration of what their ego can interfere. Like, we all have an ego, we all have a soul. So that's the kind of conditioning that we should be training our children into if we're not doing it already. So, when it comes to, like the wounds, okay, so you come in with a lot of innocence, you come in with a lot of opportunity, and then others wound you. Others bring wounds to you, and they put wounds on you, and they wound you, saying you're not worthy of sharing your ideas. You're not being worthy of learning and understanding life for yourself. Like, we all come in and we all have the right to understand and learn life for ourselves. So, it's very, very important that we're, worthy enough, and that we don't allow the wounds to take away from us as individuals learning things and sharing the ideas and the knowledge from what we have learned. So, being, just really, really, the openness to share your, to share your ideas, with not allowing the wounds to get the better of you is what's required here. Then, what narratives, in your life, made you doubt yourself, with not being worthy to communicate what you want to. What are those narratives? What are those stories that make you feel like lack of confidence in yourself that you can't express what you want to express. What are those wounds that come from not only others? Maybe some of it is wounds from others, from your conditioning, and maybe it's just that can then in turn create an internal self-doubt, like, oh, I can't communicate what I want to. I can't express my ideas uninhabitedly. I have Lilith in Gemini, and I understand the feeling of being rejected for not being able to express your ideas. So that's what Lilith in Gemini is about. But so having these narratives that where you get into self-doubt and you become very, very you say these narratives of like, I'm not good enough, my ideas don't matter, others won't like my ideas, like all these things. And it's about just staying in the space that, I'm not going to allow others to get the better of me. I'm going to uninhibitedly share my ideas freely. Now, with being willing to share your ideas, it also comes down to writing. Like you can write your ideas. It's very, very healthy to write your ideas, like you're an air sign. Air is, writing and communication. So writing your ideas, journaling your ideas is really, really huge. Like you can journal, you can jot down those things. And then sharing your creativity. Your intellectual creativity. What you're good at on an intellectual level that can come through very, very strongly, with who you are. And, like you can share that creativity. You can share that all those, creative juices that you have, inside of you that you do want to share. Like this is time to share all that creative energy that is very, very intellectual, that is very, mental, that you want to get out and share. So then also, and connect, like drop in when you share these ideas. Like, you want to heal the wounds, reframe the narratives, and write down ideas that are deep and more profound about things. Writing things that are more, writing things that show that you have a very, very deep understanding of something. If you don't, then just journal about what you know and what ideas come to your mind. Like don't expect yourself to just be all deep and profound, but just be what I'm saying here. Just be honest. Just be real. Just be authentic. Just come from your heart with it. That's all I'm saying here. It goes along with having deeper and more profound thoughts. Like when you, I think that you're going to find that when you connect with your heart, you're going to have more profound, ideas and thoughts about things very, very easily, and you're going to get into that. And then, being willing to communicate those things. Like having these ideas and actually putting pen to paper and, communicating all these ideas in some way and not being afraid to just write these ideas, share these ideas. All right, Cancer. Now, Cancer can suffer from moodiness. Fluctuations of moods that ebb and flow, that change all the time, that bend with the wind. You're feeling good one moment, not so good the next. You're feeling anxious, you're feeling secure the next. Like it's these mood swings that you can get yourself into. And when you're in a mood, like they say, I think it's not very specifically, they say, you're in a mood. It means you're in a bad mood. It means you're in a pissy, mood, in a frustrated mood, and you're PO'd, so to speak. And so, Cancer, can be, very, very, moody. Like, just very, very moody with this. It's very, very emotional. Very, very reactive, very, very temperamental. So when you're about to take your frustrations out on others, when you're about to just project those frustrations on others, just with all your emotions that you're going through, with all the emotions that you're feeling inside of you, because Cancer has a lot of emotions from its outside world, and it's learning to become more emotionally intelligent this life. It's learning to manage these emotions in a wise way. So when so just be aware of when you take out your frustrations on others, because Cancer may get into the habit of just, I'm so frustrated, and then they just, just all of a sudden the person didn't expect it, and then they just are frustrated at the person for no reason, because it's something internally that they feel frustrated about. It's something else that they feel frustrated about inside themselves, that they are taking out on the other person. Like Cancer is here to do the deep introspective work of learning about their emotions, sitting with them, feeling with them, as opposed to just reacting with them. Like, that's the lower Cancer, being very, very moody and being a crybaby. So that sounds mean to say, but like I heard a song about Cancer, the signs, and how Libra is the best sign. Yeah, Cancers are angry crybabies. It's like, you don't want to be a crybaby. I don't think that you want to turn into that. So, calming down, your temper, and being patient with others. Like, not being so, like, with this Aries energy square to your sign, it's going to make you it could make you feel like all of a sudden you're feeling very impatient, very reactive, very just irritable. And then something just comes out of you that you just didn't control. It was impulsive, and it hurts somebody, or it caught somebody off guard, and you're not being necessarily patient with it. So being patient with others, knowing that they are doing the best they can. They're trying to manage their emotions. You're trying to manage your emotions, and just letting them be what they are, and not being so reactive. So then, going along with this is not not reacting. The message with Cancer is, this is a warning for Cancer. This whole reading for Cancer is a warning. So you do want to, maybe jot this down. Like, I'd recommend with these videos actually getting, like, on your computer or document or a pen and paper to jot these points down, so that you can sort of keep them and refer back to them and consider them and, remember them. Like, in fact, I might say that next time, who knows, just to, make a note of these things. So, expressing your emotions in a healthy way. Not being frustrated in a way where you're reactive, where you're irritable, but being, but responding. Speaking from an honest, calm place, which you can evolve through Capricorn. Like, one of the lessons of the Capricorn North Node is to have a more rational, calm, and cool response to your emotions, while not denying them, but feeling them and responding in that way. Like Capricorn, you teach Cancer, like, hey, it's better to respond rather than just be so emotionally reactive. So, expressing your emotions in that way is very, very important. Like, Capricorn is a rational, practical energy. So, the other thing is, what are the signs from your environment telling you about yourself? About what you have done wrong? About who you are? Like, paying attention to the signs. And do these signs feel true to you? Do these signs feel like they are valid and they are important to pay attention to and take note of? So, taking the signs from your environment very seriously. So, what are they telling you about your emotional self? If everybody is just happy and calm around you, maybe that could tell you that you feel secure in yourself. You feel abundant. You're not using your energy in negative ways. But if everybody is really, really stressed and on edge, then maybe there are some emotions that you projected that maybe you didn't process through, where it needs to be, reactive, where it's important to sit with these emotions and be secure about these emotions and, find the security within yourself about these emotions and work through these emotions. And if you do and others are still on edge, well, then that's not your side of the street to clean up, Cancer. But at least you looked at the signs, and at least you did the best you could to look at yourself very, very clearly in the mirror to say, like, okay, what in me is making this environment the way it is? Because what we do does affect the external environment. And becoming more self-aware in that way. Becoming more self-aware of that is very, very important. So how, when I emotionally react, how does that affect others in turn? How does that impact others around me, for good or for bad? And the last thing here is self-deception. Self-deception. With self-deception, you can trick yourself into something that doesn't make any logical sense at all. Like a narrative that you tell yourself based off of your emotions, like an emotional narrative. Like, I'm weak, or I'm thin, or I'm ugly. And, you trick yourself into this thing when you're actually not ugly, and others can see your beauty. Like allowing others to see your beauty for who you are, like allowing others to see that you're not ugly and that you may say this about yourself, but loving yourself is a huge thing. Like self-care and self-love, huge Cancer lessons. Like letting others see, like, you're not ugly. You're a beautiful, real human being. And choosing to see what is actually honest about yourself, and the truth is, you're not ugly. You may think that about yourself, because, our mind plays tricks on us. We get into those narratives of our mind. But the truth is that you're not ugly. And anyone can see that. And it would not be true at all that you would be ugly at all, because nobody really is, to my understanding. And, and again, if the person does say that, well, then, well, that's not you, that's them. But, but in this case, not deceiving yourself that you are this and not what you really are. It's not being illogical when it comes to your emotions. Moving on to Leo. Leo wants to make itself this very, very secure, extroverted, loud, confident personality type. I mean, that's the image that Leo wants to project. And it wants to disassociate from anything that isn't that. Anything, he doesn't want to be introverted, wants to put it out there, wants to make it bigger and better, and wants to shine. But there may be some vulnerable parts of you that you may be ashamed of. So what are those parts of you that are vulnerable, that are really, really tender that if you were to express them, then you'd feel insecure that others wouldn't like you, and the spotlight wouldn't go on you as much, and then others would be rejecting of you and not bringing you into their group. So, we really need to, during this time, during this new moon and around this new moon, it's not just April 17th, it's just so like I'd say 3 to 4 days, like the whole week of this new moon, I would say, like accepting, so for the week of April 12th, these videos are weekly astrology videos. So for the week of April 12th, this is like your weekly horoscope. This is what this is. So for the week of April 12th, focus on accepting these parts of yourself, not being ashamed of these parts of yourself. Like we're all human, we all experience this, we all feel it. And so, accepting these aspects of yourself that you are, that you feel bad about. And healing those wounds. And when you do that, you find like, oh, you have all these creative ideas now. Like when you face your shadows and you are fully who you are, you're not in your ego, you're not cut off from your more deeper, shadowy wounds and vulnerable parts. Leo at best can be integrated. Leo at best can be so connected and secure within itself that has no problem being its secure self, because it's worked through itself, and then it comes out and then it puts out this image of security and pride and love for itself. So, what are these creative ideas and visions that you want to bring into existence? What do you want to act upon? Because Aries is about like taking an idea and making it a reality. So whatever it is, now's the time to do it. Like what is the thing that you just, what is a dream that you had, like that you wanted to do this, but maybe you've held yourself back from it, maybe others have held yourself back. Now's the time to break out of that shell and bring it into existence. Now, also, understand that as powerful as you are, there may be some things that you can't change. Like the Serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, understanding there are some things that you just can't change. They're just, like they're out of your control. So, be in your power, shine your light, do your thing. Don't try to control others with it. Don't try to change the environment that you cannot change. Just focus on what you can do and accept what you don't have the power to do. Like Leo wants to be this, almighty powerful person. And as long as you're doing it from, your soul power, your heart power, and not like, oh, I'm dominating and I want all the power, like ego, then, like the low road of Leo is having a big ego and letting it get the better of you. That's the shadow of Leo, is the ego, both self-consciousness and overly, bragging and pride and all that. So it goes both ways. Both result in Leo expressing it from the egoic side. So there are some things that you can't change. So knowing that. And then also, when you get into your ego, be mindful of, and often when we are so in our ego, it's because we haven't processed parts within ourselves, because we haven't done the inner work to process the things, and we become very, very, very egoic and very frustrated and very, all this and all that, because we haven't done that, work with ourselves. So, so really, really being mindful, like, when you, become, really, really just controlling, bossy, domineering, all of that. When you notice, like being aware, like catch yourself when you do that, and then take that awareness and then drop into your heart and relax, release control. When you drop in, when you're all in a tizzy with the egoic anger and frustration and just the need to control, and then you just stop what you're doing and just take a breath, then you'll be like, you know what, I don't need to control. I can just relax and just shine my light without needing to put others down or make others do what I want them to do. Just just like that. And it's really an act of surrendering to that, and then you come from a more authentic, real place. Like at best, Leo is one of the most genuine signs in the zodiac. And that's the high road of Leo. So, Virgo. Now, Virgo is a mutable sign. It comes in at the very, very end of summer. We're kind of like, cleaning out the closets and cleaning out the stuff that, needs to be cleaned up and, reorganized and all that at that time of year in the Northern Hemisphere, like, because the summer ends and then September comes and we, the weather changes and we prepare for the fall. And Virgo is about, like, endings. Like you're cleaning up the mess from all that summery fire of Leo, from all that emotions of Cancer, cleaning up all the emotions and the passion and all that. Like you're organizing it and putting it into order, where you are ending it. But now is the time to begin again, instead of ending. Like, you like end the stuff that you need to end. Clean up what you have to clean up. Do all that work to do that very, very easily. Do all that work to do that very, very easily. And then begin again. Set new intentions. Setting new intentions. This is the new moon to set new intentions. And to do exactly that. So instead of focusing on always ending and culminating, like begin again. Now you may be, Virgo gets itself into a routine, and it needs the security of the routine. I'm cleaning up at this time. I'm eating at this time. I'm working out at this time. I'm doing leisure at this time. Like this routine. And routines give stability and structure, yet they hold us back from really living. We have to be aware of the danger of routines. Because if we're so, into a routine, then we miss out on the fun of life. Like we miss out on the spontaneity, the opportunities, the excitement, and the joy of life. Like we miss out on that if we are so in a routine so much. Now the universe is saying it's time to break out of that routine, Virgo. Like, stretch yourself. Take a risk. Go beyond the things that you normally do in your day-to-day and just try something different. Like, do something in a different way, or do a different activity, or break your routine up. Instead of following this rigid routine, do something different. Just for a change. Just so that you can experience the thrill and excitement of stretching yourself and taking advantage of opportunities to just experience all of what life can offer. And you miss out on all of what life can offer if you're in a routine. So, now, this new moon is very much about Chiron wounds. I talked about that very extensively on that video. And knowing what triggers the wound of I'm not good enough. Virgo has this wound really, really strongly, like I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not, happy enough. I'm not fit enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not logical enough. I'm not practical enough. All these wounds. Knowing what triggers the wound. Knowing what circumstances, what beliefs, what narratives, what situations, what people trigger the wound so that you can work on healing it. But it first begins on knowing your triggers, being aware and identifying those triggers. And then making sure that you're not telling others how to live their life is the other thing. Because you can, say, well, you should do this. Should sounds very, very dictatorial, Virgo. Very much like you're telling them exactly what they should be doing and not what they could be doing. What should sounds like you're telling them how to live their life. When you say you could, it's like it's an option. You might do that, but you don't have to. It's just an idea. That's what it is. And so it's very, very important to understand the difference between those two particular words and the frequency that they give out, or that they emote out, if that's even the right way of saying it. So, making sure that you are not just dictatorial to others with all your practical tips and all the details you notice and all the flaws you see, not telling others how they should go about their life. And controlling others in your communication. Like when you communicate, controlling how others speak, what others do, letting them be. There's this real insecurity with Virgo. Like I have to fix people. And I have to change people. I have to make them in a way because I don't feel secure unless I am in control of every person, and every detail, of every aspect of my environment. Like that is so not true, Virgo. You don't have to be in control. You can let go of control and just let them. There's another thing that I just want to say. If you've ever read that book by Mel Robbins, let them. I think that can be so healing for Virgo. It's just let them be. Let them do it. And it doesn't say let them walk all over you and let them hurt you and do all of this and, destroy you or defeat you or challenge you in negative ways. But for them to live their own life and following their own soul and doing what they authentically want to do, let them do it. So that's what I want to say about that. Libra. Moving right along here to Libra. We're halfway through now. Now, Libra is a sign that is really, really attuned to others' opinions. And when you're attuned to others' opinions, when you get so, in the soup of, others' opinions, and, what they're saying, what they think of you, you can lack clarity on what you want. Like, Libra is here to evolve through Aries as opposed to knowing what their own personal values are, what they want, what they desire, what they need. So getting clear on that, not letting others' opinions hold you back from that. And then, what lights you up that is apart from anyone else's passion. This is a big thing. Because at worst, Libra can lose itself in others. Because it puts all of its mental, emotional energy on the other, and what the other wants and what the other likes. Like it focuses so much on the out there, the external, that it doesn't go within itself and reflect on what it wants, what it's passionate about. So you're being challenged, you're being invited with this new moon to focus on, what am I passionate about? Like, what really lights me up? What gives me joy? What do I authentically want to do passionately, and not what I'm trying to live up to the expectations of others and just go along with others' passions because, oh, I just want harmony, I just want all of this. Part of being harmonious is being harmonious within yourself. Like, to be harmonious within yourself is to be aware and tuned into and tapped into your own passions and, living from that place. So then, all right. So then, there may be wounds around relationship that you have. Oh, this is big. Especially if you have Chiron and Libra. Now, I discussed this with Libra North Node the other day. In that very, very long, in-depth, deep podcast episode. It's over 2 hours, so just know it's long. It is in this podcast, The Cosmic Sky. So if you're interested, you can find out about that. If you're a Libra, you have dominant Libra energy, you may be very, very interested in that. And that North Node is very, very close to home for me because I have my midheaven in Libra, I do believe. So there's this wound around not feeling worthy of being connected with who you want to be connected to. Not feeling worthy of relationship. Not feeling worthy to be with a partner that you want to be with. Maybe others have separated you, and told you, oh, you must be with this partner and you can't be with this other person. But you want to be with this partner. You want to connect with this other partner, but because you're so wanting peace and wanting harmony, you just let the conditions of what others want for whom others want you to be in relationship with to get the better of you, because you don't want to stir up the pot and stir up trouble. At some point, the pot's going to boil over. At some point, something's got to give, Libra. And, you've got to stand up and say, no, I want to be in relationship with who I want to be in relationship with, and darn it, I have the right to do it. So, that's really what I'm saying here, Libra. So, really, really to consider, that you are worthy. Anyone that tells you that you have to be in a relationship with this person, you can't be in a relationship with that person, not true. They are projecting on you, they are, judging you, they are holding you back from who you want to be in a relationship with. So don't let them hold you back. This is the new moon to not let them hold you back. And be with a partner. Be with that partner that you want to be with. Okay. And then you're worthy of being in a relationship that is true for you, Libra. You don't have to harmonize with the people that you don't like. And this may go back to others pushing you and forcing you and putting you in a relationship that is not true for you. Libra at best, in the Libra North Node, Libra dominant energy in your chart needs to choose relationships that is true for them, are true for them. And you don't have to harmonize with those that are just not for you. Not everybody's going to be for you, Libra. Not everybody in the world is going to be your cup of tea. And when you understand that, it's going to be so liberating when you can find the people that are your cup of tea. So, Scorpio. Scorpio has this really intense, powerful draw to it. It can just lure people in with its personality, with its attraction, with its, with its intensity, with its passion. There's just something about Scorpio that is indescribable that just lures others in. And one of the aspects to this new moon that's going on is Mercury in Aries sextile Pluto in Aquarius. So this is really, really affecting you because Pluto is your ruling planet. So you have the power to, lure others in with your words at this time. Scorpio, especially Mercury and Scorpio, can really, really probe and get in there and convince others very, very deeply of what you want, with knowing the right things to say and the right tone to say it, the right phrasing, the right emotion. You are masters of manipulation. You are masters of getting people to be on your side and convincing them to be with you. Well, you just have the knack because you're just so naturally tuned in to the environment, to other psychology, to all of that. So because you're so tuned in, Scorpio, you have this ability to persuade others. You want to be mindful of this, that you're doing it for good. You're persuading others of good things, believing in themselves. The massive potatoes in the field, to be very, very strong in their writing of pen and paper, to be very, very strong in their writing of note in Word document. Like being mindful of when you are emotionally manipulating, when you're trying to control others mentally and emotionally for your own gain. Like this emotional tendency, which sometimes you're unconscious of it. It's about bringing awareness to the part of you that just naturally just swims in and just takes all the power away from others and makes you all powerful. So and the other thing is, you can see, you can read people like a book. It's like you have this ability to just see through everybody else's motivations, why everybody wants to do what they're doing, what's going on in their mind, and all that. Like, you are just like, you can get obsessed with this. Like, you are obsessed with others' stuff, Scorpio. And so that's a good thing, because you can see, others. You're very, very perceptive. Very perceptive. You can see right through somebody to see their motivations and why they want what they want, so that you put yourself in the right relationship with people, with those certain people, that those who are out to get you and those who are out to, their motivations are not merry and pure and for the good of you and for the good of all and clean motives. Then you can get yourself out of the situation. You don't have to engage yourself in situations. Like, Scorpio is great at putting up emotional boundaries when it knows, basically this person is not pure. And that's why Scorpio lacks trust, is because it's just so familiar with the darker aspects of human nature. And can just see right through, and to see someone's, what someone wants when it comes to them specifically. So then also, accepting the vulnerable parts of you. Also, Scorpio comes in with a lot of vulnerability, and Scorpio is willing to learn to be vulnerable. And at best, Scorpio doesn't take out its insecurities and project it onto others and sting others like Scorpio is a scorpion, and like scorpions sting with its tail. The high rate of Scorpio is, I'm going inside myself. I'm very, very introspective. And I am healing myself and allowing myself to lean into the vulnerable parts and just letting them be there. Letting them be there. And letting myself in the right situations, in situations where they feel secure enough, like allowing themselves to speak to these things and just sit in this energy. Like, Scorpio is meant to sit in their energy. When Scorpio does this, where they can become where they can gain insights about themselves, and where they can get really aware of themselves, and that's where they can grow. So Sagittarius. Sagittarius doesn't want to take life too seriously. Doesn't want to, have the business, the work, the job, all this. So it can put that aside to follow its soul. But like a best Sagittarius, you can put all that hard work to the back burner, and and instead choose to, what? I'm going to do what my soul is calling me to do. I'm going to explore whatever I want to explore. I'm going to hunt down whatever I want to do. I'm going to expand myself however I want to. Like, Sagittarius wants to be liberated. And when you're following your soul, don't you feel liberated? So, putting aside that, like, you have permission to do that at this time. So, something very, very valuable about that. And then what visions that you have that you want to act on them. What visions that you have for your life. What are those visions? These grand visions, like I want to run a marathon, I want to plant a tree, I want to plant a big, massive garden, I want to start a zoo, like all these big visions. Now's the time to take that step, take that leap of faith and that step to just start it. And just act on it and begin. Like this is an action-oriented new moon where you're acting on that thing that you say that you want to act upon, and just when you promise yourself, like being loyal to yourself, like when you promise yourself, like I'm going to do something, well then do it. Like deliver on your promise. Like do that thing. So for yourself. And then also Sagittarius comes in with a lot of confidence, and it can speak from a place of confidence, and it can, inspire others, and has a very confident, quick, ness in its part. And Sagittarius has the ability to just inspire others, motivate others. So you can motivate others to believe in themselves, because that's, Mercury conjunct Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries is the best. We are motivating others to believe in themselves, and that's so compassionate. And so when you can motivate others to believe in themselves, that's how you can really, really grow with this energy really, really strongly in that way. And then now the other thing, which is really, really big, and I want to talk about this for a little bit. What do you feel when you hear the word gratitude? I made a podcast about this on my Real Me podcast on YouTube. You can go check it out on that podcast if you're interested to hear my take on gratitude and my thoughts on that. But, gratitude. Do you cringe? Do you feel really, really uncomfortable? Because if you do, it's probably because you were conditioned to be just thankful and to be grateful and to be satisfied, and like you don't need more than you need, like condition that you can't want more, that you just have to be happy with what you have and you can't want more than what you have. And it's this conditioning into gratitude that is preached to you, and this is why so many people feel so uncomfortable with gratitude. It's because of this negative condition. We have to redefine. It is not up in the head. It is not something that should be conditioned. It is something that should be felt and experienced as a spiritual state of being. A feeling state of being. And Sagittarius is here to lean into gratitude this life. We celebrate Thanksgiving during Sagittarius season. So Thanksgiving is about like being thankful. Look at the bountiful food, like the turkey, the stuffing, all that, like it's a feast, and there's so much abundance with that. So Sagittarius is here to lean into abundance. So breaking free of the conditions of abundance and defining abundance for yourself and doing what makes you truly feel abundant and giving yourself what makes you feel abundant. Like what makes you feel prosperous, what makes you feel in a state of contentment about your life. What makes you just feel just a warm, loving, abundant sense of feeling good about your life. Like, you know it because it's just and when you feel gratitude, you feel secure. You know, like when we feel gratitude, we feel secure within ourselves. We feel like, like it's okay now. You know, like we're okay. Everything is good. You know, we're in the right situation. We have the right, people, the right, food or whatever. And, like everything's going fine. Everything's going great. And I feel good. Like gratitude also is feeling secure. So I just wanted to say that. So, defining it for yourself. So then Capricorn. Capricorn is risk averse. It is very, very resistant to what was risks. Like the classic example is if, you have a path and it's like to a new destination, like Capricorn is like, well, let's not go down this path, let's turn around. Like Capricorn is just so cautious and careful that it holds itself back in this life. Because if, it's like at best, Capricorn can say like open up to new opportunities and take chances and make mistakes. like Miss Frizzle, like taking chances and make mistakes, which is very, very Sag Aquarius. She is a total Sagittarius Aquarius personality. So follow Miss Frizzle's advice, Capricorn. Take chances, make mistakes. So take take your risk averse quality that you have. Whatever that risk averse quality in you that is so resistant to risk, so just resistant to doing things a different way, and challenge it. Say, you know what? When you feel this urge inside yourself to do something different, but you're just so insecure about it, like I've got to do things the same way, and trusting your intuition and not your logic, because your ego and logical mind will talk you out of taking that risk. Like, it will find ways to convince you, like, oh, this is not safe. Like, your fear will keep you safe. And to doing the same things over and over again, and don't let yourself get talked out of it. You can even follow Mel Robbins' thing with like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, act. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take a risk, don't procrastinate. So, so don't let yourself get talked out of taking the risk. Like, this is a time to pivot and take a leap of faith. So those are two very, very important things to remember. So, just test yourself. Test yourself. Like challenge your securities, and this Aries is a risk-taking energy. Like Aries says, be bold and act. Just act. Just do it. Just what are you waiting for? Do it. It's like that's Aries energy. It's like not waiting around. Just don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Don't question it. Don't second guess. Just do it. So yeah, Capricorn is like, just do it. This is a just do it new moon. So, and then also having the confidence and motivation that you can take the risk. Like Capricorn just does it. Just does the same old things because, taking it so seriously. Like, this is a practical way to do it. And I'm trying to think of how I can explain this in a very, very deep way. Try to sit with this a little bit. It's almost like this. I'm doing it out of duty. I'm doing it because I have to. I'm doing it because of a practical reason that at worst you can lack authenticity, you can lack fire, courage, motivation, heartfelt joy when you do it, and the drive to do it from your soul and not just your logical sense and your rational sense of, oh, I must do this because it's my obligation, it's my duty, it's all this, like this new moon is saying. Find the confidence and motivation in yourself to do it, and to not be so serious about it, and do what is, authentic to you when it comes to taking the risks that you want to take. Now, also Capricorn can really, really learn humility. Not being so egoic when approaching conflict, because we have Aries, we have all this Aries energy, and the low road is like conflict and battle and all that kind of thing like that. And we have Mars conjunct Saturn, so that's adding a little bit of conflict in the air, potential for frustration. So not being so egoic when approaching conflict where you are superior towards others. Well, Capricorn can get in this mindset of like, I'm rational and I'm practical, and I'm more rational and practical, like putting others down because you're so wise and you're so great and you're so practical, that you are more practical and you are more worthy than others. You can actually put others down and make others feel like crap. So, not, being, egoic when it's like, it's my way or the highway, it has to be done this way, it has to be done the way that I'm familiar with doing it, you have to follow my rules. Like Capricorn can restrict you into following their rules because they're all about control and doing things the same way, the traditional way, over and over again, not changing it up, not adding variety to it. So, earth signs at the lower can get stuck in comfort zones. And I think this goes for all the earth signs in this video. Like, don't get stuck in the comfort zone of the traditional way of going about it, and just the comfort zone of just the need for control, the need for controlling what what others are doing, how others want to do it. And, so if you can approach conflict, like when you're fighting for yourself, not taking others down, because like Capricorn, you can put out this image that you are more sane or more rational or more this or more that than others. For some individuals, it can come across this way. And so when you get into this superiority mindset, this kind of at times can be very, very detrimental to you in relationships. So when you approach it from a soul-centered place, and when you speak your truth from a soul-centered place and not try to control, like I talked about this with Leo, then you'll find a lot of peace and harmony with others in relationships. And you'll when you control others and be all egoic, then it does hurt relationships. So worthiness and then the other thing is Capricorn is about self-respect. And the self-respect to build a life for yourself, to build Capricorn is I build, like they're the builders, like, building a life for yourself that is not being defined by others and, others' expectations, not being defined by family. Like Capricorn North Node is not letting family get the better of the life that you want to carve up for yourself. So, so building a life for yourself that is not defined by others, and having the self-respect to say, you know what, I love you, but I'm going to pursue my own goals, I'm going to achieve my own thing and do just exactly that. Aquarius. You are not meant to follow, Aquarius. You're not meant to just go along with the herd and follow. So are you being kind to yourself with this? Are you allowing yourself to rebel? To, break out of the old system and structure and do things your own way? Like how I'm doing with these horoscopes, doing it differently than any other astrologers. And I actually, I am going to admit to you this, I actually sent an email to one astrologer who is doing this that I follow very, very closely, who is very, very deep in his interpretation of astrology. And because I commented and, I couldn't find the comment when I got into my other account, so I emailed him and I, basically told him, like, Aquarius marches to the beat of its own drum, and when something, is not right, they want to change it and be an individual. And, like, Aquarius is, like, at worst, Aquarius can just go along with the herd and go along with the crowd, because it doesn't want to stand out and doesn't want to be an individual, it doesn't want to be seen and noticed. That's Aquarius, South Node, or North Node, which I will be discussing with them. I think today I'll be doing a video for the Aquarius, South Node, or North Node. I'm real excited to get to that. But at best, you would say, you know what? I'm going to stand up and be an individual and change this whole system and do my part to change this system, change this flawed system. I'm going to do my part to put out horoscopes that are actually meaningful for people to watch, as opposed to just the house's sign. I may not control and be able to change what others do, but I can control my own self and what I do and how I do it. I can convince others, but I'm not going to expect to change others, and I'm not going to keep my, you don't protest. You don't, why do we protest? It's because we want to get a message across, we want others to know about it, we want, others to be convinced and aware of it, we want to fight it against others. But the reality is we can't change others. We can only change ourselves. And so, are you allowing yourself to do this? Are you allowing yourself to, stick out and not follow the herd? So, then, okay. Now, I realize Aquarius, and if you have a strong Aquarius energy, you're not going to like me when I say this, okay? So, you're not going to like me saying this to you, Aquarius. But there are some instances where it can actually be good to do things the tried and true way. Because one of the things about Mars conjunct Saturn is doing things traditionally. So, yes, you can. I'm not saying you completely discard your own way of doing it, but where, what are the things that you do agree with? What are the useful things, the valuable aspects of the conventional way of doing things that it can actually work for your innovative solution? Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Like, Saturn is the old structures, the old ways of being, how it's always been done. And so, what are those, conventional ways that need to happen where you are, getting down to business and, getting down to business, being disciplined with, what you want to do, what you want to put out there, and balancing this out with the traditional way of doing this, where you are doing your innovative thing, but I'm going to tell you honestly, Aquarius, tried and true methods are for a reason, and because they're tried and true and they, tested out. Like, I'm just going to tell you that you give certain medicine to patients because it's been tested out, and certain procedures to patients because it's been tested out. You approach goals in a certain way because it's been tested out and proven over and over again that this is the effective way to do goals. So use that for your innovative goals, for your new and using the conventional ways for goals that are unconventional, that are out of the order, that are just so innovative, and whatever. So that is something to consider. And then the other thing is I'm gonna tie it back to I don't want to make this too complicated for you. But so I'm not gonna confuse you or anything. I don't want to confuse you because I don't want to, see this and go like, oh, you're confusing this particular sign. I'm just gonna say very, very clearly what from your environment is letting you know of something that you need to change within yourself, like a belief about yourself, about what you believe about the world and what you want to achieve in terms of humanity. like what signs from your environment are letting you know what to change within yourself about, well, maybe this sign from your environment is saying, hey, now it's time to break the system. Now it's time to rebel and change this up. So, what are those signs that are letting you know this is what I need to change for humanity? This is what I like to change. This is what I like to break free. And this is what I like for, Aquarius isn't just changing what they want for themselves. It's changing what they want for the masses, for others, for eating. It's like this is Aquarius energy. It's like being an individual for others. It's very, very, like an activist kind of thing. Like that kind of spirit, like someone who wants to invent something. Like that's Aquarius. And so, what are those signs? Saying, of something that you want to change out in the world, and see those signs and actively respond to it. And then, Aquarius has humanitarian qualities. And so you can motivate others to be their authentic selves and march to the beat of their own drum with compassion. Like Aquarius has a lot, like Aquarius is not a mean out to get you sign. It is very, very compassionate because it's very, very cool, friendly, people-friendly, easygoing energy, very, very easy to get along with, very, very congenial, very, very open-minded at best. So having, compassion with, this is the other quality. So, with all this being said, you can also be compassionate towards others. Now, Pisces, last but not least, we're at the end. Can you believe it if you watch this whole video? Okay, so Pisces. Pisces is the most spiritual sign of the zodiac. In its own way, of course. Like, all the signs are spiritual, but Pisces is like, the typical sign when you think of spirituality. So, when it comes to Pisces, like, what are those subject matters that you want to invest in? And what subject matters will help you move along on your own spiritual path, like on your own spiritual path, on your own spiritual journey. Like, this is a time to get sovereign. This is a sovereign new moon, time to, step into your sovereignty, Pisces. That's what Aries is about. So, so subject matters that are, getting into meditation, getting into divination, getting into mindfulness, getting into a certain religion that's true for you. Like what spiritual field or niche is true for you on your spiritual path, and choose to devote that into your energy. Choose to because Pisces is here to be very, very spiritual. Pisces is very spiritual energy. So like investing in on that path, on that, spirit-oriented thing when it comes to that that path, like choosing that thing that is true for you on your own path and going in that direction. And then Pisces can also, deceive itself. Tells itself lies. Like, what are the lies that you tell yourself that are not true? I talked with this about Cancer. What are those lies that you tell yourself? There was somebody who had Pisces Sag in their chart, and they were lying, and they were not being true to themselves when they were smoking and, smoking cigarettes and whisking life away, like a worse Pisces can get, into drugs. And why is you telling yourself, like, it's fine, it's okay to do this, I'm miserable, I'm a bad person, I'm terrible. You kind of, get into a fantasy about these things. so being very, very careful, like, because Pisces is like masters at, like, deceiving themselves. So, so it's really, really hyper aware of self-deception and deception in general, because it's like so tuned into that energy. So, so what lies are you telling yourself that are not true? And we're framing those into things that are true, like being true to yourself and being as honest and real and practical and logical to yourself as you can. And, what are those wounds that others have given you, when it comes to them basically pouring and projecting onto you their emotional sagas? Because Pisces is just an open ocean. Just a public place that anyone can go to at any time, where people can pour and project their sagas onto their woes, their stories, their all this and that. All these things that people project on you, their beliefs, their problems onto you. You have to put up with a lot of stuff in this life when it comes to others, and yet you allow it because you want to be so compassionate and so boundlessly, openly, infinitely compassionate. But you're learning to develop stronger roots in yourself. Like Pisces is learning to develop roots, like becoming stronger in itself and more rooted because of this kind of thing like this. Because of this. So, you're rooted in yourself, like becoming root and saying, like not allowing these projections and all these sagas to get the better of you, and actually distancing yourself from that, meditating, healing, calming yourself, taking care of yourself, and living from the inside out, instead of allowing these other things to steer you off course and make you unstable. Like you want to be stable and you want to be secure. Like your Pisces is the feet. The feet are grounded on the earth. Like Pisces is meant to be very, very grounded. And then are you living a life where you're just following the herd? Or are you living a life that's in alignment with your dreams? Like Pisces is here to, at best they can chase their dreams and follow their dreams and not just be in the dream state. So, be, actively living a life that is in alignment with those dreams. Not just, you just going along with, the dreams of others and what others want from you. And, what others, you have in mind for you, and a very, very small life where others are controlling you and keeping you from going after your dreams. So, are you following others, conditions and expectations and rules, or are you being your free self and following a life of your dreams? So you can ask yourself that and consider, changing your course if you are living that small, subservient life. Okay, Pisces, and all the signs really. That is your horoscope for the new moon in Aries for the week of April 12th, 2026. The next sign horoscopes will be for Uranus and Gemini, which is going to be big. Big. I cannot wait to talk about Uranus and Gemini. There's a lot of things I have to talk about that. When I get there's a lot to go into with that. And I'm going to break it down for the collective and for the signs. And you want to see both videos because there's going to be a lot in both videos. I'm going to go really, really deep with how Uranus and Gemini can affect your individual sign. But that's your new moon for this week. Enjoy this new moon. Take advantage of it. Follow this podcast, like this podcast, do all the things with it. Share this with somebody who would be interested in this kind of style of doing astrology, you know, spread the word as best you can that I am doing this. I would really, really encourage you to spread the word that I am doing this way, and you know, make it so that as many people as possible can see this and you know, and hear what is said in this video, because it is you know, very, very, you know, I think that the way that I do it is way more meaningful than, you know, other astrologers. So that's what I'm going to say in my pride and confidence and feeling good about myself with my Leo progressed moon right now in my life. So anyway, bye for now, everybody. I will see you in the next episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast.